Hey, it's Steven here with the final part of the Vaterra Camaro SS 1-year review. This is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be modifications and final review in one. But I'm going to talk about some of the things I changed and why I did it, and then show you some of the things I like. The first thing I changed obviously was the tires. The tires on the stock car are 30 millimeters in the back and 26 in the front. This made it difficult for when these very soft tires wore out. I couldn't rotate them. I could, but it would look really awkward. Now, I like these tires. These tires are a lot better. These are HPI tires. They're harder rubber. I get why Vaterra went to these softer tires. They're better gripping. They're more performance. But I like the longevity part of it. The next thing I changed was the steering servo. It's part of the other problem that I had. I found the car very uncontrollable, probably because it was my first road car. I didn't like the steering servo with it, so right now I have a Savix, Savix 1257 TG in it. Actually, the servo is too fast, so when I want to do straight speed runs down the road, I actually have to turn the servo speed down to 10%. The reason why I got a digital servo is because I got the ABC receiver. I think the ABC receiver is very necessary in this car, and makes it very easy for drifting if you want to do that too. I do that with this car as well, so this car does, depending on how I set up straight line speeds, drifting. One of the other problems, as I can post in the video on this card here, was that when the servo was in a default center position, the tires would be tilted off, as you can see. I had trouble understanding what the problem was. I took the servo horn off a few times, tried to adjust it in different places. I could never quite get it centered. It was always off one way or the other. So in the radio, I took the sub trim and turned it 30 to the left. So when I turn the car on, it is actually straight. I still do have some issues with it swaying back and forth, though. As far as the ABC, I think some people might agree with me. The ABC receiver is right here. The tires are right here. Some of the other cars, buggies and stuff like that I've tested, it seems the farther away the ABC receiver is from the actual tires, the better it handles, maybe because it doesn't take as extreme gyrations. But this car is really sensitive. The max I can turn the ABC throttle gain is about 20% on a 2-cell, and once I hit the top speed of about 35 miles an hour on a 2-cell, it will start to do that shake. On a 3-cell, that is very evident very quickly. I actually have to turn it to about 15% steering gain to get it stable. Any more than that and the car just shakes really badly. Another thing I changed, I put the optional fan on the actual ESC. After temping it, I bought the fan, like I said, I bought this car in the wintertime, bought the fan shortly after that. I never got to run this car in warm temperatures. Now, with testing, I realized that the fan's not really needed, but it's nice to have in case you are running a heavy 3-cell in it and you're just going crazy with it. As you can see, I did a little bit of painting inside because it was a little boring in there. I took some metal cast duplicolored paint, which I have here. First thing you want to do is take some silver metallic paint. I have some spaz sticks here. I taped this off, as you can tell, and then sprayed it with this very lightly each time. And I did the same thing. I even made sure I didn't cover the serial number here. Did the same thing to a lot of the other plastics in here. It's not as durable, as you can see. It's falling off here. I like how it looks under there now. Also, because I've had a few brownout issues with the ABC receivers in my other cars. This is a Spectrum, glitch buster. Now, as far as working on this car, I've never really had anything break down. I did smack a curb once and broke this whole A-arm section off. Once I was able to get the screw out here, the whole front end came off pretty easily, and I was able to replace the A-arm. Not too difficult once you get over the fear of working on it. This was my first road car. I'd never worked on something this small. But once I get over it, I had no issues. I've rolled this car several times and not taken too much damage. The most damage has been to the actual body itself. As you can see, the name's wearing away. I unfortunately ride in an area that has a lot of rocks in the road. The only other problem that I've had is the batteries. I don't have a battery to show you. but some of my 3 cells, the balance lead's a little long, and a few times I've actually ripped it off in the tire here. I've tried different ways of putting the lead under the battery here. These are adjustable. I don't know if anyone knows, you can spin these posts. Both posts are adjustable. If you try to put too big of a battery, which I have, and you force it down, you will actually strip the screws out. So I can't go too far up, or else I will lose the screws altogether. Now, more on what I like about the car is the motor seems to be pretty good for it. This is the Taser 3300 kV motor. I have one of these motors in stock in my Glamis Uno and the Vaterra Helix. I've never really had an issue with the motor, except for in my Glamis Uno, where I put a 3-cell in it and obviously got it above 200 degrees and fried it. So I was thinking on getting the new Taser that was the ESC and motor in one, and that would free up that much space, probably move the ABC receiver farther back. But that motor / ESC combo is limited to 2-cell, and I like running 3-cell on it. But if you don't mind running 2-cell only, that probably wouldn't be a bad combo. It's 3000 kV. You free up the space in the ESC here. You know, you can move things around, pretty up the wiring. I tried my best to make the wiring as pretty as possible, but it's not perfect. I can't really think of anything else major I'd change about the car. Probably, enclose the drive shaft. After I saw the Spirit Flux 3, I really like that, how it was enclosed and very modular, and you can access the drive shaft from there. I really like that a lot. Some of the upgrades are a lot of aluminum. Some of the aluminum parts you can get for it don't make sense. You need aluminum shock towers. I don't see this car making big jumps that it needs the aluminum shock towers. The aluminum casters or aluminum steering hubs, I understand. I didn't go for the adjustable camber because I probably should with the steering issues that I have, but I didn't just because I like not having to mess with it. It's where it's going to be. All I have to adjust is the one spot. Now, as far as Vaterra themselves, they really like to push their marketing, very low marketing I do see, on their brushed motors. I really think the brushless motor is the way to go. I understand that if you're short on money, that it's cheaper to buy the brushed and then upgrade later. I wouldn't mind upgrading this to a Castle. I have a B5M with a Castle Creations motor in it that I'm kind of wondering if I want to throw in there. With it's a 4600 kV, I wouldn't mind to put in there to raise the top speed, because the B5M doesn't need to go 50 miles an hour down the road. It's just going on a track. Other than that, I really like the car. I compared it to the Spirit Flux 2 at the time. Didn't like it. If I would have seen the Spirit Flux 3, I probably would have bought it. But I would have paid extra money to put a different receiver in, which I did anyway for this car, and changed a few things. So that's my final review. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch these, and you have a good evening. Bye.